the younger generation talks about like, well, how I was raised and blah blah, and how there's this like lack of empathy from them and kind of pinpointing stuff. Now, I'm using that kind of as a broad stroke. I'm not saying that if you were raised in a like super traumatic upbringing where, you know, you had some of the stuff that you described, like that's different. But people are pinpointing and like pointing fingers at their parents or grandparents, and like, why do you think that they do that? Is that their coping mechanism, or their maturity and understanding is like, well, I have to just blame someone? Like, what do you think? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about this whole trend of estrangement, family estrangement, and people saying, you know, I'm not going to talk to you anymore?
That is probably the term that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's really become super big. I think that, you know, if I had to do it over again, because my parents are deceased, and so we weren't talking about estrangement 20 years ago. I think maybe the answer is, you know, empathy, of course, and then learning how to put some boundaries down. You know, when you're around certain people who are toxic, or, I mean, if you can put boundaries down and still have the same relationship. People also have the capacity for change. And I'm not saying, you know, to be hopeful if someone's never going to ever change, you know, that's one thing. But people do have a capacity for incremental change, you know, and my feeling with my parents, if they had known better, they would have done better.